Yeah. So what are these numbers?
Square numbers.
Square numbers. So now I'm going to write some numbers beside it. Right. So what are these numbers in the second column?
The odd numbers.
Odd numbers.
They are odd numbers, right? But are they related to the numbers in the first column?
Yeah.
Difference.
Difference between two consecutive prime
Exactly.
is a square number.
Exactly. So this consecutive difference. So we have it as 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on. Okay. So this we'll just call this as successive differences. Okay. Now we will repeat the same thing again. So this is the successive difference at the first level. Second level, if you again repeat it, we will get 2, 2, 2.
Difference will be 2 all over.
Yeah, it will be 2 all over. Right? So this is the first level, and in third level, it will be
0.
Right. Okay. Now, here we have started with squares, right? Now, the initial column is a cube. If the initial column is a column of cubes, then what will happen? If you take, then what will happen? If you take successive differences.
Yeah, sure. So the last but one step, you will get a sequence of 6 and then finally 0.
Right. So at the first level, the first order successive differences is 7, 9, 37, 61, 91, and
127.
127. Very nice. Then the second order differences would be
12,
12,
18, 24, 30, 36.
18, 24, 30, 36. And the third order difference would be 6, 6, 6, 6. And the fourth order is a 0 column. So here we have for squares and here we have for cubes. Okay. So now I'll just pause here. Now looking at this, what all questions do you get?
What will the next fourth and fifth, like sixth power, like suppose it is a cubic, so then next fourth, then
so
fourth degree, fifth.
Powers, exactly.
Yeah.
So what will be how will be the columns for
Columns?
higher powers?
Higher powers, yeah.
And
which degree you get 0? In which order?
Which step you get 0?
0.
First of all, we need to ask a question whether any number raised to the power, if you do it, first of all, will we reach 0? If at all we reach 0, how many steps it's taking for each and every power?
Excellent question. Yes. First of all, will it reach 0? We are not sure, right? So it happened for squares and
cubes. It's working for cubes and squares, but it's not necessary that we need to work for power 4.
Right. So for higher powers, this is the bigger theme. So in higher powers, will we get 0 always? Okay. And if yes, at what stage?
Or how many iterations it's taking to get 0?
Yes. So which order? If yes, which order is 0? First order, second order, third order, right? Anything else?
Will it hold infinitely for cubes and squares also, because we've only seen few examples?
Okay. So if I take more squares, is this what you mean?
Yes.
What excellent. So here we have just stopped till 343 and 36, and we have got zeros. If I take more squares and more cubes, will I still get 6 and 0 0 0.
Till 100 it's working for squares, and till 1000 it is working for cubes. I checked it. After that we need to do.
Oh, wow. So are you writing a program, Shankar?
No. Not
Fine.
writing.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So so even for squares, very nice question. So even for squares and cubes, is this a universal phenomenon? Wonderful. Very nice.
Actually, this has to be the first question. Whatever Gauri ma'am said.
Yes.
Then only follows the question which says, will we get 0 for higher powers? First of all, this has to be the first question. In fact, squares and cubes, if you extend up to infinity, whether the successive difference at any point, well, it reaches, is going to be 0 for infinite number of numbers.
So at least for squares, now, okay, let us just start with squares. Okay. So the question which Gauri ma'am posed is, if I continue writing squares, if I keep on writing squares and if I keep taking successive difference, will this follow the same pattern? Like, for example, I got 9, 11, will the next number be 13, will the next number 15, and so on? And will this be 2, 2, 2, 2 always? And will this be a 0 column? So will the third order of successive difference be 0 all through? So for squares, at least we can tell something, right? Because we are very familiar with the squares.
So it's like if you attempt to find the differences, and if any successive different stage reaches a stage where the pattern is in AP, then definitely it leads to 0.
Excellent. Nice observation. So no matter what the starting sequence is, so this is
correct. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So no matter what the starting sequence is, if some stage is, if say the kth stage is a AP, if the kth order difference is a AP,
then definitely it has to 0. It has to go to 0.
Definitely it will go to 0.
0, of course. Yeah.
Nice. Right. That is one thing.
Then it is very easy to find out the pattern also for generalize how to find out nth term also here.
Correct. Exactly.
If AP is there, then easily we can find out the.
Exactly. Once any successive different stage reaches AP, then it's a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Right. So here I have one more question over Jagdish's question. So now it is, of course, so AP, if it is an AP, then we can find out the term is, it's easy to find, right? Now, suppose the kth order is AP, let us take the previous order. Okay, so for example, here, the second order difference is, the first order difference is an AP here. Okay, fine. So here it is the second order difference, which is an AP. Right? Now, if you
again, it's fourth. If you go for the fourth power, then we need to check whether the AP is in third order, fourth power. So again, it is like if you go for the nth power, then n-1 stage has to be in AP. We can go and check it out.
Okay, nice. So Shankar has a connection already that if nth power, so for nth power, we might get an AP at some stage, at some order. Yes. So now coming to my question, so Jagdish sir said that now here the second order is in AP. Now what about one order before it? Now this is the first order. Now the second order, I can find any term because it's an AP. I can find the nth term, I can find it easily. Now if you go one order before it, that is the first order, here also can we find the nth term easily? Is there any way of finding it? Okay, so that is just one question I am adding from my side.
Shiv. Shiv, for this specific case, that is all cube numbers, you can find the nth term of any term in the first order. Just for this particular case.
Oh, so you're saying the first order difference, nth term I can find?
Yeah, you can find that is 3n square plus 3n plus 1.
Oh, nice.
So from that you can generate all the terms in the first order.
Right. Okay, fine. So now Sunil has made a statement that he has in fact found a formula which generates the first column here. Okay. Now
that is nothing but the difference of two consecutive cubes, n plus 1 the whole cube minus n cube.
Exactly.
Correct.
Right. So now if we come back to this our starting sequence here. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, so on. What is the formula that generates this sequence?
2n plus 1.
The initial sequence, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, this one.
N square.
Your first order, 2n plus 1.
Yes, this is n square.
N square.
Right. And similarly, this is n cube.
Okay.
Right. So now Sunil has found out the formula that generates the first column here. And that he says is 3n square plus 3n square plus 3n plus 1. Right. So can we similarly find a formula here for the first order difference of n square?
It's 2n plus
2n
1.
plus 2n plus 1.
2n plus 1. Yes. So this is 2n plus 1. This is the formula for the first column. And for the second column, the formula is just 2.
2.
Yeah.
And this is just 0.
0.
Yeah.
It does not depend on n at all.
Yeah.
Right. Activity of trying to fit a given sequence into a formula itself is a very interesting activity for middle school students. So now this adds, Sunil's answer adds one more question here to the list. The question being, so for all the different orders that we get for different starting sequence, can we find a formula? Can we find a formula for all the columns that we get? Right. So now I'll just interrupt a bit and take your attention to this formula 3n square plus 3n plus 1, which Sunil had mentioned for the first column. Okay, let us just take it out. So we have cubes. That is n cube. Right. So, Sunil, can you repeat how you got this formula for the second column?
So it is n plus 1 whole cube minus n cube.
Right. So now this is 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, and this is 7, 19, 37, 61, and so on. So basically, now if we just choose a term here, and if we call it the nth term, the next term would be n plus 1th term. And this term here, the 37 here, is obtained by subtracting these two. That is n plus 1 the whole cube minus n cube. Yes. So now how do you simplify this further, Sunil?
Yeah, you have to use the identity.
Which one? Which one will you use here?
A plus b whole cube.
Right. A plus b the whole cube is what?
A cube plus b cube. Yeah, that will give us.
Right. So this is one way of finding it. Interesting. Right. Okay. So now I'll give you a challenge. I'll throw up a challenge. Okay. At least for the first order difference. Now, if it is kth power, now let us just focus on the kth power.
Yeah.
So the k could be 2, that is a square, 3 or a cube, 4, 5, and so on. Right? For any kth power, can we give the formula for the first order difference? So first order difference of n power k. Right? Is there a, can we tell something about it? Again, it will be.
It is, it is n plus 1 to the power of k minus n to the power of k.
Right. It is n plus 1 power k minus n power k. Right.
So I think we have to use the binomial theorem for this, but I forgotten.
Fine. It is good that we've, fine. That is okay. So this is one way of doing it. As you said, by binomial expansion, we can do it, right? But there is another identity which we can, which will come very handy here. Okay, so we will just start with squares. So if it is n plus 1 the whole squared minus n squared, so instead of using the binomial theorem of A plus B the whole square.
A square minus B
I
square.
can also use, I can write this as,
Factorization.
yes sir. So what factorization will use sir? Like this sir?
A square minus B square here.
Excellent.
A
So
plus B to A minus B. Yeah.
right. So A plus B into A minus B. So A minus B here is just 1.
Yeah.
Right? So this is 2n plus 1.
Yeah.
Right. So now if you do the same thing for A cube minus B cube, right? So n
A
plus
plus B into A square minus.
right. So we'll just write the A cube minus B cube. What is
Is
A
equal
cube minus B cube?
A plus B into
Is it
A minus B. A minus B into
okay?
A square plus AB plus B square, something. Yeah.
Right. So okay. So now we see that this we can also use this kind of formula to get the first order formula, right? Right. So we have A square minus B square as A minus B into A B, and A cube minus B cube as A minus B into A square plus AB plus B square. Now, how do we? First of all, first question. Okay. So when you see these two identities, do you get any questions?
In all powers, it will A minus B is common.
Right.
Then A square,
A minus B is common, right?
common factor. Yeah, it is a common factor.
Right. That is one thing.
And yeah, A square minus B square is the product of two linear equations, whereas A cube minus B cube is the product of a linear equation and a quadratic equation.
Okay.
Quadratic expression.
Expression. Okay. Nice. Okay. Fine. So one basic question is, how do you know that this identity is true? If I ask you, how do I know that these identities are true? How will you show it?
Again, product of these two is equal to nothing.
Right. So you just multiply this term by distributive law.
Yeah.
So this is multiply A into A square A cube, A square B, AB square, and then we'll get A cube minus B cube. We can check it. Right. So now from these things, can we try to find out this formula for A power 4 minus B power 4, A power 5 minus B power 5, or in general, can anyone tell me something about A power n minus B power n? We can. So we have this form for 2 and 3. For 4 also, it is possible to find. It is easy to find.
Is it first one is A to power 4 minus B to power 4 must be A minus B into A cube plus.
That's right. So that's why I'll just write down. So Jagdish sir as a conjecture, interesting. He's saying that, well, just a minute, I'll just write it as A minus B into
A cube
minus
plus
A
square B plus AB square plus B cube. If you observe in all previous than A cube, the degree of it second factor, that is the power becomes 2 power here, one less of it. Say,
nice.
Look.
So Jagdish sir, so now for A power n minus B power n, can you send
A minus B into
private chat? Can you put the answer in the private chat and send it? Yeah. So if anyone has tried for higher powers, please let me know what you have found out for 4th powers and 5th powers.
I tried for 4th power. Shankar's conjecture is true. So the AP came at level 3.
Just a moment. So for 4th powers, the AP came at order 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then?
And then it became 24, 24, 0. So 5th power I didn't try yet, but yeah.
Okay, but did it raise any further conjecture in your mind or any question in your mind? So just write down.
Looking at 2, 6, 24. Yeah, but haven't got anything.
So Gauri ma'am has got another very interesting question, as she always does. So for when we start with squares, the column before 0, just the column before 0 is 2. For third power, what is the number before the 0 column?
6.
6. So it all 6 and then 6 becomes 0. For fourth power, what we talk about is the number before the last 0 is
24.
right. So what is happening here? So now what can we say about? So we have found, we are talking about the AP sequences. We're talking about the AP sequence, but what can we say about this constant? Here it is 2 and here it is 6, and for fourth power she says it is 24. Okay, what is happening here?
When you move from second power to third power, the difference, the stage that has a difference before 0, I mean the AP stage gets multiplied by 3, and then from third to fourth power it gets multiplied by 4. Probably if this pattern is working, then when it's moving from fourth power to fifth power, it has to be 120.
Excellent! Wow, what a connection! What a full connection! So what Shankar is saying, I will just repeat it. So he's saying that this 6 is the previous 2 times 3. And the 3 is here, this 3. And this 24 is this 6 times this 4. Oh, nice. And so now he's guessing, he's making a guess that the next 2 to 120. Very interesting. So can anyone check that? So usually in physics, this is what people do. Theoretical physicists, they evolve a theory and they'll make some prediction. And the experimentalists will design an experiment to check if the prediction is correct or not. And if the prediction is correct, you can't say that the theory is 100% true, but it will give a big support to the theory. Yeah, so can anyone check for the fifth power and see what is happening?
Verified for 5, it is coming to 120.
We have that this conjecture has been verified, and this is 120. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, and another way of seeing it is actually, if what Shankar is saying is true, then this 2 can be, this 2 is 2 factorial, this 6 is 3 factorial, this 24 is 4 factorial.
Yeah.
So now what is factorial doing here? We are taking powers and we're taking what is doing here?
Sure, I try to frame a table using the coefficients. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That is something is actually leading me to some interesting thing. Like for example, so generally to find the coefficients for a given term n plus 1 the whole power k. So we use Pascal's triangle, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it has got something to do with that one. So this is what n plus 1 the whole power k minus n power k, right? That is what we're trying to find.
Yes.
Okay, so if this is the difference, okay, so if you write the coefficients table for n power 0, n power 1, n square, n cube, n power 4, n power 5, n power 6, like that. So for n plus 1, suppose for k is equal to 2, then it will be what? N plus 1 the whole square minus n square, right?
Yes.
So for that, the difference is 2n plus 1. So 1 is nothing but 1 into n power 0, right?
Yes.
So this is nothing but if we put it in the form of a table, in the n power 0 column, it will be 1. And in n power 1 column, it will be 2. Okay. Similarly, for n plus 1 the whole cube minus n cube, where k equal to 3, the difference will be what? For n power 0, coefficient is 1. For n, it will be 3. And for n square, it will be 3. Which makes us 3n square plus 3n plus 1, right?
Yes. Interesting.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what even Sunil told. So similarly, for n plus 1 power 4 minus n power 4, where k equal to 4, so it will be what? 1. First column will be 1, second column will be 4, third column will be 6, and fourth column will be 4. right?
Yes.
So if you find this is nothing but the one part is actually missing. It is actually, if you feel that it's a Pascal's triangle with the ones missing at the
Correct.
end.
Correct.
So just that I found out something like that.
Very nice.
So I don't know whether it will help or not, but just told.
Yeah. So actually,
So for n, so similarly with this Pascal's triangle, we can find k equal to 5, k equal to 6, and we can we can see the Pascal's triangle. You remove all the ones, rest of the things you can write it in the form of a coefficient with the coefficients,
right.
which actually lead to the a power n minus b power n formula.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, lots of nice
Lots of
ideas. Yes. Right. Fine. So now,
I'm pretty sure that the general form is something to do with Pascal's triangle. That much I can actually.
yes. So the general form of what?
I mean, the general
Triangle.
form that we are trying to find for n plus 1 the whole power k minus, it has got something to do with Pascal's triangle. For sure.
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely. So if you go to binomial theorem,
Binomial expansion.
there it'll directly follow. Yes.
Yes.
Right. So, okay, then since we have got to this binomial expression, right? Let us just consider this question. Like, if I have to find a plus b the whole power n, okay? I think some of you already know the method to find this. So we know what is a plus b the whole square. It is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Then a plus b the whole cube is a cube plus a square b. Okay. Yeah, this binomial theorem, again, it is a very old theorem. As far as I remember, the oldest one traced to is Chinese work, where they had mentioned this binomial theorem. Okay. So, how do we get these coefficients? Right? So, how do we get these coefficients? Just now, Shankar was talking about the Pascal's triangle. We will come to that soon. But before that, I just wanted to point out another thing in this direction. Okay. So let me, so directly saying it in words, let me try to pose it as a problem. Okay. Okay, let us just consider this something like this: x minus y1 into x2 plus y2 into x3 plus y3, so on till xn plus yn. Okay, let's consider this product. Okay, my question is simple. My question, in the product, how many negative terms, so how many minuses will occur? So in the product, how many minuses will occur? For example, if it is just x1 minus y1 into x2 plus y2, this is x1 x2 plus x1 y2 minus x2 y1 minus y1 y2. So I have two minuses here, 1 and 2. Right. So if there are n such products, how many minuses will occur?
Is it 2 to the power of n minus 1?
Yeah. Yes, so Sunil, can you give the reasoning in chat?
Yes.
Okay. Or how did you get it? If it is just a conjecture, you can just mention it, just a conjecture. Or if you have followed some thought process, you can mention that. So this question, in fact, is very much connected to the famous binomial theorem. It is just a mellowed down version of the binomial theorem. We'll just look at this viewpoint at binomial theorem now. Will has got an interesting answer. Right. So you've given the answer. Any reasoning? Are you typing it? Or just observation?
It's just observation.
Oh, no, yeah. So yeah, it's not just, it's a great observation. Nice. So how did you go about observing it? Right. So okay. So others can still like work on this problem. I'll just pose one more question. Now, just consider the product of this. Okay, x1 minus y1 until xn plus 1. Consider the product. You have some term plus some term plus some term plus some term minus some term minus some term. Right. So you'll have lots of expressions. So here I have x1 minus x2 as one term, x1 y2 as another term, x2 y1 as another term, y1 y2 as another term. Right. So now let us forget about the signs here. Can you describe the terms here? How many terms will occur? How many terms will occur in total? Okay, and can you describe each term? Can you describe each term? So maybe what we can do is we can consider the same question, but replace the minus y1 by plus y1. Okay, just consider this question. X1 plus y1 into x2 plus y2, so on into xn plus yn. Okay, so how many terms are there in the product? First thing, and can you describe each term? So one way to approach this problem is just by taking n equal to 2, see the number of negative terms, n equal to 3, the number of terms, n equal to 4, the number of terms, and try to generalize that pattern. That is one way of doing it. And even for this x1 plus y1 to explore till xn plus yn, to find the number of terms in the product, we can again take different values of n and try to generalize that. And then as you keep multiplying it for different values of n, keep noticing the number of terms you get, and each term, can you describe its structure? See if you can tell anything about that. Right. So I think this is a good point to conclude this session. So the thing is, if you try to understand the general structure of this product, x1 plus y1 into x2 plus y2 till xn plus yn, right, and just think about these questions, then this will actually, so binomial theorem is something which many of you are familiar with, but an analysis of this will actually directly lead to the formula of binomial theorem. Okay, right. So just can give some thoughts to these questions, and let's get back to our starting problem of the day, where we started with different powers, right? And we raised different questions, like first of all, will this be true always for squares and cubes in the first place? If yes, how can we be sure? And then for higher powers, what will happen? When will the zero stay? At what order will the zero come? Before zero, the constant, what can you tell about the constant? So on this we have a conjecture made by Shankar that it is factorial, right? So again, can we, is it possible to prove it? And so it looks, so for some of the powers that we have taken as a starting sequence, and also for some of the sequence which Jagdish sir mentioned, we saw that we are reaching to zero, right? So now let me add one more question. Can we come up with a starting sequence for which we will never get a zero? Is it possible at all to come up with such a sequence? Okay, and yeah, And the answer to this question lies in one of our previous sessions. So yeah, I'm just giving it a second. Yeah, so these are some of the questions. And yeah, and also like try to, so now I think some of us have got a grip of what is the formula for the first order, because the coefficients here, so for those who know Pascal's triangle, are able to find the coefficients here. Similarly for the second order, right, for the second order, can you find a formula? And how would that be? How would you go about finding the formula and how would that be? Okay, this is another question. And another question which I got just after Jagdish sir mentioned this, 161528. He gave a very beautiful method of finding the formula for the first sequence, a step-by-step method. So first find the coefficient of n square, then coefficient of n and 1. Very nice, very nice. So here the specific sequence is 1, 6, 15, 28, 45, 66, so on. So one question which I asked is, now we know that it's easy to find the formula for the AP sequence. This is 4n plus 1. So from this formula, is it possible to find the formula of this directly with just one question? This is if yes, then this would be an alternate method to find the initial formula. But the formula given, the method given by Jagdish sir is very nice. So 4 divided by 2, he says. That is something which. So why does this work? So sir, if this turns out to be an odd number, sir, what will you do?
Then odd number also you have to divide by. You get a rational number for that.
Wow.
Suppose if
Oh, very excellent, sir. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm just going on. And so how did you come up with this method, sir?
so actually I am very fond of this one pattern and everything, number pattern. So usually I focus more on when I start algebra, introduction of algebra, I go with first pattern. So then then I automatically got interest in doing all these things. Then I went for that quadratic cubic and everything. So that way I got this.
Wow, what a method.
For any AP, I find out easily, sir. Up to third order, that nth term.
Wow, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah. Right. So now, so for cube.
Thank you, sir.
So for cube.
Yeah, cubic also I find out, sir.
So you
yeah.
take this number and divide by 3.
Yes, sir. No, sir. You have to divide by. I think next week I will share it, sir.
Okay, sir.
I work out. Next week I'll share it. Okay.
Nice, nice.
I'll send a photograph. That is, I write it in paper. Send it to your WhatsApp. Okay, sir.
Nice, nice.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Right. So these are some of the questions which we got, and also a power n minus b power n as general formula. We will see this for 2 power 2 power 3 power 4. So Shankar shared the general formula, but how can we be sure that this formula is correct? That is one question for us to think about. And then this lastly we took this question of this product and analyze its properties. Okay, and if you analyze its properties, we will see that it will directly lead us to the binomial theorem. So continue this discussions next.